Welcome to They Are Waiting for Us from Forbes Books, the podcast that explores how education can transform lives and communities, featuring conversations with change agents who are making a difference in education, from parents and advocates to teachers and leaders. Here's Dr. Lisa Andrew.
My guest this week is Dr. Cynthia Teniente-Matson, the 31st president of San Jose State University. With over 30 years of higher education leadership experience, Dr. Teniente-Matson champions student success, diversity, civic engagement, and experiential learning. As president of Texas A&M University in San Antonio, she spearheaded remarkable growth, earning prestigious designations like Hispanic Serving Institution status from the U.S. Department of Education. A passionate advocate for students, Dr. Teniente-Matson has served on national boards and delivered inspirational keynotes on issues in higher education nationwide. Dr. Cynthia Teniente-Matson, welcome to They Are Waiting for Us.
Hey there, good to see you. I'm glad to be here.
So before we dive specifically into your perspectives on the current state of higher education, I think it's important for our listeners to know a bit about you. Can you share relevant information about your background that is still influencing you today?
I would say I am a first-generation college student. I'm the granddaughter of immigrants, and I think it's critically important for me in my leadership role to recognize the authenticity of that which makes me a leader, that which makes me a citizen of our university, and that which makes me an engaged member of our community. And that's how I think about my role, through the lens of a first-generation college student, the lens of a first-generation professional, and the lens of a first-generation president in the role of San Jose State University here in our great state of California.
Yeah, very, very important, especially in the community that San Jose State is serving. And I know of whom you want to serve more. So I'm super excited to have you here locally at my alma mater, leading the way with such passion and engagement. I'm super proud to say that you're our president. So my organization, the Silicon Valley Education Foundation, is focused on college and career readiness in the kindergarten through 12th grade system. How is San Jose State partnering with K-12 schools to increase college readiness?
Well, there's a lot that we're doing in our Bay Area collaborative in order to get prepared as we think about the future of technology, particularly in this critical role, in this critical space. And I often think about who is preparing kindergartners right now for the world of artificial intelligence and what that is going to mean in how they think, how they live, how they work, how they play, how they act. So San Jose State has a very important partnership role in the region with the multiple school districts in Santa Clara County and San Mateo County, both areas of which we serve and have influence in over teaching. So there's a lot of partnerships that are occurring now with the districts, thinking about this and how we extend an integrated approach to teaching and learning between our university and the school districts at large. I personally have been to several superintendent convenings with the independent school district superintendents, as well as the county superintendents, as we think about and discuss and respond in some cases, and in other cases proactively plan for what the districts are facing right now in a number of issues, looking ahead. And we know that we cannot do this work independently, that all of us need to work together to bring our best minds and our best collaborations forward. I think you're aware we received some funding through the Bay Area Collaborative as to really think specifically about dual enrollment and San Jose State's role in three very specific areas around education, teacher education, technology, and health careers, all areas that are critically important to our nation, but especially important to our counties and our region.
I will attest to your presence everywhere. I will attest to you being in spaces where there are educators and policymakers, and you have done just a huge effort to connect with the superintendents and teachers and those involved in the K-12 system. So thank you very much. They see you as a partner and they see you as an ally. So that's going to make a huge difference, I know, in the future. So here at SVF, we spend a great deal of time working with families to plan and prepare for financing college. What promising models do you see that exist for making higher education more affordable and accessible for our community?
Higher education more accessible and affordable has always been on our radar, and it has always been a question. So a big part of what we do here at San Jose State is to ensure that our partners and prospective families and parents understand what options are available to them. So sometimes it's what I would call simple things, although there's nothing simple about it. And that is, earlier collaborations on FAFSAs, the financial aid forms for preparation. And as you well know, this year is a very particular challenge for what's going on in the Department of Education. But there are many other programs available within the state of California for Cal Grant and Aid in Need. One of the primary messages I always give to students and their parents is don't let financing be an obstacle for an education at San Jose State University. One of the other areas that many public agencies like ours, public institutions like ours have been doing for some time now, and we're continuing to refine here in our area, is the significance of partnering earlier. So middle schoolers and their families really need to understand, and we need to help inform and guide what it takes to have a solid entry into the California State University system in particular. So that's taking the right preparatory courses, the nomenclature here around A through G, which is basically the college preparation courses that we know have become barriers over time for students to not be able to have a direct pathway into San Jose State if they don't have the preparatory readiness in having taken the right courses in high school. There is no reason that a student should experience that, but we know it is still happening today, and it is especially problematic for low-income communities and communities of color that the proper pathways aren't being followed for a number of reasons. So there's more partnerships occurring between the university and local nonprofits as well as the ISDs to tighten up that lane. What I say, there's a lot of silos of excellence doing great work, and we need to connect those silos of excellence so that every child, every family, every parent has the support they need to come to California State University, and in particular, San Jose State University right here in our region, in our valley. There's also more work that we're doing to make stronger connections with our community colleges. We have great articulation agreements and great partnerships with the community colleges, but we know nationally that a large number of individuals who enter into the community college system, even if they obtain their associates or the appropriate working credential, don't go on to pursue a 4-year degree. And so we need to continuously tighten those partnerships. And we're doing a lot more of that work. And this year we'll be announcing a new student success transfer pathway that will allow, a direct admission into the university earlier.
I am the beneficiary of such pathway way back when I was attending De Anza Community College. And there was a partnership with San Jose State, and I had a seamless transfer as a junior. So I thank you to San Jose State for that many, many years ago. And I know that how powerful that can be. And so I'm really excited about that continued work that you have. So I'm a firm believer that you have to recognize and understand success to continue to move forward. One such success that the Silicon Valley Education Foundation has with San Jose State is the Spartan Eastside Promise, which has grown enrollment from Eastside Union High School District into San Jose State. What student success initiatives are you most proud of at San Jose State?
So I love what we're doing with the Spartan Promise, and I want to expand that even further to strengthen the number of students who can participate, and to create further scholarship opportunities for that program. So those are some areas that give me a lot of pride. We are doing more outreach programs here at San Jose State that are focused on areas of interest earlier with partnerships across the districts, like some work we're doing, for example, in the Black and African American communities. We have some partnerships where we go out across the CSU, across the Cal State system, and work with local Black and African American churches to be closer to families and students and making that one-on-one connections. And some of that work has also led to broader partnership opportunities here where we can bring middle schoolers and high schoolers and have direct conversations with them on the university campus so that students understand the opportunities that exist here at San Jose State University for them. So those are a couple of areas that I think are particularly helpful. Recently, we sponsored, co-hosted, I should say, an event with Kaiser, for example, Kaiser Permanente. And one of their value propositions and questions that they were asking themselves is the following. Why don't we have more individuals coming through a health careers pipeline? And number two, how can we reach earlier to communities of color to understand the opportunities that exist? So Kaiser created a program that we housed here on our campus with them that brought professionals from their workforce, and we partnered with some local districts and brought students here that were in middle school and high school to help them learn more about health careers. And one of the speakers, for example, was a physician who conducts some surgeries using robotics and using those types of techniques. So creating that spark or that interest for a student that they would understand that as a career option in ways that they might not have understood if they didn't get a chance to talk to a professional doing that work. So those types of partnerships, I think, give me great hope for what we're doing earlier with all of our collective resources to reach back to students and their parents and or loved ones in getting them into a guided pathway. So those are a couple of areas that I would touch on in terms of pre-college. I would say in college, what we have learned at San Jose State is the need for the holistic wraparound support and what it takes for a student to be successful. So I'm always excited about partnerships that align with our SJSU CARES program. And the CARES program is sort of a hotline, so to speak, where students can come or call or message on any topic for them. So it may be that I've been challenged to care for an elderly member in my family. I don't know how to do all of this, and I need support. And so a counselor might work with them on what are resources that are available for them or their family members to help move through that critical item in their lives that may prevent them from dropping out or stopping out of their university experience. We know that couch surfing and homelessness can be a factor for college students in particular. So we have partnerships with the Bill Wilson Center for rapid response. We ourselves have created beds in our housing unit that allow students to have an immediate access to a network that helps them become stable in their housing if they are bordering on an unhoused situation. Sometimes it's only for a short term that we find students need that support and that resource. And then connecting all of the dots on resources that may be available to them if they're facing food insecurity or nutrition insecurity in general or need mental health support and guidance, which many students, this number is rising in terms of needing the support. So we have lots of partnerships both on campus as well as off campus and with our nonprofit partners that are really making a difference in our community.
That's great. And the focus on the whole student and taking care of the whole being and understanding that how much that plays into success so that I love that. What did you say? Stop out or drop out, right? And
Yes.
people are like, I have to stop. I think that's not only, wonderful and humane, but also very practical. So, as you know, college is a time when young adults explore expressing their views in a more public forum of like gathering like-minded individuals to make a statement. And this seems to be a very prominent in our society today. So, how is San Jose State balancing free speech issues with creating an inclusive campus environment?
Well, that's a real softball.
We had presidents that just got fired because of this sort of thing, right? And there's been this call that our female college presidents are being targeted, and I'm just like, how is she dealing with this, especially in a city like ours? So
there's a couple of things. One of the issues that I stand by as a leader for myself to show up as the best leader that I can is to really focus on ensuring we have a safe and emotionally healthy place for learning here on our campus. So I try to use that as a lens that drives decision making for safety, whatever that looks like, from personal safety to the large public safety on our campus, to all of the resources around emotional well-being that help individuals. So with that sort of as a spectrum, like many public universities, we have policies that drive and guide our behaviors on our university campus that also align with our values. So we have, without getting too much into the mechanics of it, we have what's called a time, place, and manner policy, which allows for the appropriate governance around free speech, protected speech, freedom of expression, and the like in the conversations and these events that occur on our campus. We try to educate students on how to comply with the time, place, and manner. These are content neutral so that students may express themselves in a manner that is appropriate and that doesn't disrupt the learning environment and also does not cause personal harm to themselves or anyone else. So no physical altercations, as well as the protection of our buildings and our spaces. While we have these bookends in our policies, there are certainly always room for improvement. So we think about also what are the appropriate supportive measures for all students as the opportunities that are occurring, particularly around geopolitics right now, or even, national politics issues that have occurred across the country, that we are working proactively with our student leadership, which is our associated government organization, and the California State Student Association to best understand what's on students' minds so that we can proactively prepare for it. So those are some of the areas that we're moving ahead in. We also have to keep in mind that we are a community, an open community of learners. So we have opportunities for anyone to come onto our campus to engage in physical activity, whether they're jogging or walking or bringing their pets, observing our art collections, being engaged, coming to public lectures when they are public lectures. So we also have to keep all of that in mind, that this is an open community, and how we continuously educate everyone and stay on top of ensuring everyone has a safe community environment as a public institution is a challenge. And it is something that is certainly stretching all of our resources. Fortunately, we have some great models here, national models, that include our partnership with the Martin Luther King Library and the city of San Jose, there's nothing more public than a public library. We actually know how to do a lot of this work together with our local city staff and our university staff librarians. But the issues now are not just around how do we keep everyone safe. It's also, I think we're experiencing the fatigue, the continual strain and stress that these types of matters just around the world are piling on, going back to the pandemic, to George Floyd, to the war in Ukraine, to the geopolitical war that's going on now in the Middle East, and everything else in between. It is a challenging environment, and all of us are keeping the safety and emotional well-being of our community in mind as we move forward. I don't think any one institution or person has this 100% right, but we're learning from each other and trying to give each other grace as we move forward and honor everyone's freedom of speech and expression.
So in that vein of college being a time where, students are exploring their thoughts and exploring having voice and agency, what role can college play in preparing students for careers of the future with skills like creativity and adaptability?
So, Lisa, as you know, I was recently at one of your events that you hosted, a conversation about AI, artificial intelligence. So it feels like to me that energy that's buzzing around the Silicon Valley at the tip of this sphere that's already launched, so it's progressing forward, that encapsulates, this convergence of technologies. So machine learning, large language models intersect with artificial intelligence, intersects with robotics, intersects with spatial computing. And so we have this big, giant constellation of activities going on that's exploding in the most positive way possible, I think, in terms of this new technology and what this will feel like in the future. And some futurists are saying that this artificial intelligence wave is as impactful as when Edison invented electricity. So when you think about this large impact, then we sort of backward map. How do we play a role in creativity and adaptability? So for things that we can't even imagine, right? So I think we cannot lose sight of the significance of critical thinking, the significance of hands-on problem solving, project-based learning, understanding sort of this interdisciplinary collaborations that are occurring. And as I said earlier, who's teaching the kindergartners?
Exactly.
And in what way? So I think there's a lot of opportunity for this near peer collaboration, and in some cases, reverse peer mentoring. So let me say just a couple things about that, and I'd love to get your reaction to it. So near peer in terms of us at the university having advisors and peer mentors in middle schools or high schools, so they can learn from and co-create their learning with someone that's close to their age, who they may feel some other affinity and comfort in learning from, in addition to what the teacher in the school is doing, is one way to think about the near peer and how that will continue to evolve. The other side on the reverse peer is how professionals that are in the workplace now, for example, are learning from and adapting to and evolving faster in these newer technologies, because near peers may understand the tools differently or think about the tools and the technologies in a different way. So it is helping to bridge that learning, again, to bring some co-collaboration to how we think about these technologies evolving and how we keep up with them, sort of back to who's teaching the kindergartners. So that's a couple of ways that I'm thinking about it in terms of near peers and reverse peer mentors. They're just being applied a little bit differently and at this unimaginably rapid pace of adoption and adaptation.
Yeah. So totally agree with that. In fact, for I think the last, 8 years here at SVF, all of our summer programming comes with near peers. We have college mentors that work alongside the teacher in the classroom. And you're right, there's an affinity to these college mentors that's different. We also bring in STEM professionals for inspiration workshops This allows students to interact with experts and ask questions about their experiences. So it's great to have this synergy as we support our efforts at the college level through our K-12 system. Okay, hang on, Cynthia. We have to stop here, but coming up next time, Dr. Cynthia Teniente-Matson will share San Jose State's strategy to prioritize both student-centeredness and student readiness.
I think we are student-centered. Being student-ready requires a continual assessment of what is happening, how students are coming in. Students coming post-pandemic is completely different than where we were 3 or 4 years ago, which requires significant adaptation. So our ability to keep up with this rapid pace are some areas where I would reinvent and continue to communicate what it means to be a public university supporting students in today's environment.
This has been They Are Waiting for Us. If you want to learn how to create economic opportunity through equal access to quality education and create an extraordinary learning environment focused on everyone realizing their full potential, go to drlisaandrew.com. They Are Waiting for Us is a production of Forbes Books.